Hi there, Sandy Freshy here, back with another video. This is part of our conversation around human design and intuition. And today I want to talk to those of you who feel like you're a little bit more logical and the magic of intuition or being intuitive sort of eludes you, because if you have a certain type of circuitry in your human design chart that makes you feel as though you're logical or puts you on the path of being logical, you actually are one of the more intuitive people on the planet. So if this is a topic that interests you, go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you will, if you're not subscribed, so that you can continue to get more videos as they are uploaded. And of course, if you want notifications, please hit that little bell. So those of you who are logical and you think that you don't have any kind of magic in your design, go back to my last video where I was talking about how we all have the human genome because we are humans, right? And the human design chart is sort of a symbolic representation of that human genome. So whether you have it inconsistently or consistently via your openness inconsistently or your definition consistently, you still have all of it. So you have that capacity to have that magic that we often talk about or understand through the lens of intuition. However, if you've got like this circuitry, which is the actual logical circuitry in the human design chart, you may feel like you don't have this, going back to our original definition about intuition, the ability to understand something without conscious reasoning. And so it's often immediate, but in this case, maybe it's not if you've got a lot of this circuitry. And I want to tell you or show you or explain to you how you actually are some of the most intuitive people on the planet. So just to let you know, if you've got your human design chart, these are the channels and the gates in the logical circuitry: the 63 and the 4, the 63-4, the 17 and the 62, the 17-62, the 31 and the 7, 31-7, the 15 and the 5, the 15-5, the 9 and the 52, the 9-52, the 58 and the 18, the 58-18, and the 48 and the 16, the 48-16. So starting at the top, that's how I did this: 63-4, 17-62. It may be opposite on your computer on the screen, so that's why I'm pointing them out. The 31-7, the 15-5, the 9-52, the 58-18, and the 48-16. So when you have time, you might want to stop this video and grab your chart and see how much of that circuitry do you have? How many of those gates and channels do you actually have? And that could tell you a lot about why you may feel like you aren't intuitive, like why you may feel you don't have this magic of intuition where you know stuff and maybe it looks like you're just pulling it out of a hat and it's accurate, you can read people and all of that. You know, I'm doing this in a vacuum, so everybody usually has a little bit of all the different types of circuitry, a little bit of openness, a little bit of definition, and it's all a mix. But why are you, as a logical person, as someone who maybe has a lot of this logic in your chart, why are you some of the most intuitive people on the planet? Because logic is this a type of intuition where you put one step in front of the other. And mentally with that 63-4, it's about proving things out, right? But below the throat, you know, if you're looking at the circuitry below the throat and you really study those gates and those channels, that's about knowing in your body by proving out over time the step-by-step process that moves people forward. So think of your intuitive capacity within this type of framework, as we tease this out, as the intuitive capacity that creates things like computers, that is the mind of something that is a computer. Now, back in the early days, like back when computers first came online, and especially with the internet and all of that, in the mid 90s, I have quite a bit of
Logical.
circuitry. One of my defining channels is the 5818. So I my intuition for figuring out how the computer worked came from the step-by-step walking through the process, like of getting on the internet, of doing Google searches, of all of those things. That was my intuitive process that moved me forward in understanding this mystical piece of machinery that now we all live with, right? And it got to the point where I could pull anything off of the search engine that I wanted, because at one point I realized that I was thinking like the computer. And that's a real intuitive gift. It's an intuitive gift to be able to order things, to order your understanding of how something works, because this is like the foundation of, in a sense, let's expand this out a bit. It's like the foundation of consciousness. If you think of like the computer as a man-made type of consciousness, as a metaphor, right? The way that consciousness is, universal consciousness is, cosmic consciousness is, it's in a sense, a very ordered system. Everything in our on the earth plane, on planet Earth, and in the universe has an order to it. Mathematics is a cosmological uh, system of understanding the interrelationship of things and how they move through the universe, how consciousness moves, how we all move. Nature is another one of those logical systems. You put something in the ground, it sprouts and it grows. You put a seed in the ground, it sprouts and it grows. That's a logical progression that looks like magic, but it's actually predicated upon a real structure that maintains that if you do this, that will happen. So to understand that, to know how that works, is a real intuitive gift. So I just want to offer this to you because I have friends that are, I have a friend, very good friend, who's a data analyst, and she comes to me for like her cosmology, her understanding of the cosmos, and all of these things that seem like really mystifying and nebulous to her, all of the woo-woo stuff. But when we really start to get into those conversations around the mysteries of the universe, we're talking about structures and systems and solar systems and gravity and cause and effect and systems to build foundations that create structures for people to move forward, bringing in the woo-woo, the woo-woo meaning like energy and things that you can't actually necessarily see by the naked eye, but bringing it in and actually working with those concepts on a practical level. Quantum physicists are master intuitives at understanding the cosmos. So, if you consider yourself or you identify as someone who is not very intuitive, go back and look at your chart. There could be a lot of this logic in your chart, or maybe you were conditioned by people who had a lot of logic in their chart, and remember that the logic that you identify with is an intuitive gift, and it is the gift that, or it is the, how do I put this, the structure, the the ability to understand the underlying structure of everything. And without that, none of what we have materialized that really works for us humans would ever exist. So that's it for today. I'd love to know if you identify with being logical, how you feel about your intuitive abilities. So until the next time, be well.